And once you start going through things, you that's similar to this, that's similar to that, I can use that here. Graham? Fighting stance. So there's a couple of extra pieces that we can, if you want to come around so as you can see a little bit better, that's fine. There's something else that we can, because we're going forward, you can do nagasu going step forward and punch. You can do it going backwards. Sensei Shimizu does not like people to go back. You go forward. Yeah, you attack. But there's some things else that you should realize. The distance that you should be away from him. Some of you were a little bit too close. Yeah. The other thing is, a lot of you were leading slowly. I know you wanted to do this for years, Graham, but, but slowly again. Right? You don't lead with your head. Back again. So you do not, stop there, you do not, can you see I was leading with my head? You should be leading from your tan down. That gives you a little bit more room. So it's your your distance when you're starting, and your ai, when you're actually doing the technique. I is to be with them, like Sensei Kerry said a few weeks ago. Aikido, to be with them, to gel with them. Yeah? And the next thing you should be thinking about is your, sorry, let's just relax a bit. Is go no sen no sen, sen no sen. Have most of you heard of that before? Yeah? So the main thing is, sorry. Yeah, fighting stance, rush. Whenever you want to. Oh, and again. Nope. Again. Nope. I'm seeing his body move. So the earlier you can detect that, the more it's going to help your inasu. Again. So, it's not that I'm quick, it's the fact that I'm reading his body, Sensei's body. Yes, I want you to do nagasu again, but I want you to lead from the stomach, from your tanden. Yeah, and I want you to be reading their body. We know they're going to be punching, we know they're going to be punching Jodan. So that's a bit of a help. But you've just got to detect that moment that they move. So if you know if you've got nagasu, if you're happy with that nagasu, then start looking at your distance, your mai, your ai, your sen no sen. Yeah, start introducing those little bits and pieces to a very basic move. So instead of it being a basic move, it becomes a lot more intricate. Can you see how you're going back and you're relearning and you're trying to introduce your experience to it and to refine it? Yeah, some of you, it's a little bit new, but you need to start developing it. And the only way to do that is to go back and relearn it again and add those bits in, because that's what makes it go from being an average technique to a good technique to an exceptionally good technique. Yeah? Okay, try that. Yeah, man. I'm noticing that people are not moving their back leg, this leg, because it's if this is a center line here, Senju-sen, this is on this side of the line, this leg's on this side of the line. Some of you are doing this part with the body, but you're not moving this leg. It's still the other side of the center line. So you need to make sure that you bring the back leg over. You do sword, don't you, as well? Yeah, so just think of this sword coming down, or a knife defense coming down. If you leave your leg on this side, you've not cleared the senju-sen. You need to make sure your back leg is moving as well. Okay, so last few with your partner, but make sure you lead in, center line, not going to the side, and moving this back foot. And try and be as close as possible. Hush, carry on. Use your back leg. So we add in a little bit more in each time we do nagasu, but the basic nagasu is there. You should be using your tattai seishan stance. Tattai seishan, because you can move any direction you want. So, just to make sure that we are using our tattai seishan, Graham, can I? That leg forward. And that's it. So when you push in Tomokomizuki. Oh, that's great. So, try and think about your knees now. If you're in this stance, it's a little bit difficult to do because you're not central, you're committed to go forward. If I, just by turning the foot, I'm not using my hands, I'm using the nagasu, but I'm taking the attack to the knee. Sorry?
Kazushi waza.
Kazushi. Kazushi. Yeah, you have it. Thank you, Graham. Watch what you're doing with people's knees. It's, you know, taking it sideways. So be very careful what you're doing. I don't want anybody going away today with an injury. So Sensei Graham says, Kazushi. When you're doing Gomitagata, you learn Irimi, moving in. And Kazushi, which is breaking their balance, taking their space in this world. Yeah? So, starting from here, nagasu, try and use tattai seishan, lead with my stomach, watch for gono sen sen no sen. Look for that technique. Then take the attack to them, not with your hands, with your feet. It's very easy to do things with your hands. It's difficult to do things with your legs. But these are also a weapon that you should be using. Watch what you're doing, but try and take their knee. And that'll help you with your distance as well. If you've got a like a sprinter, a racer, they want to get to the line and go through the line. Yeah? So this, you're thinking past the line. You're not just thinking about your nagasu, you're thinking about attacking as well. And without using hands, this is a pretty good one because you can take their balance straight away. Yeah, can you try that? But watch what you're doing with other people's knees. Thank you. Can you see how you've gone back? You've tidied up your nagasu. Yeah? You add in the timing elements into it, seeing the technique come in. You lead in. You're now thinking about using your knees to attack with. I haven't even started to punch yet. But if you can get the detail in on your stances and your body movement, that's when people, when they're taking their downgrade, some people they're good, they're naturally good. But there's other people like me, I struggled. I really did struggle. So you have to sort of take it back and you have to learn again. Take it back and learn again, but find it. So, inasu. Inasu. To redirect. So, that looks forward to. I don't want you to move around, or so I'm going to go in. So they're going to punch, you can do it to any target, but we're just going with Jodan for now. I don't want you to do any nagasu yet, nothing else, but you need to realise that you are redirecting. So when the punch comes, just lift your hand. You don't have to do anything else. Can you see how it's redirected? Sorry. But literally, just lift your hand that you're taking on the inside, the outside. You're going back and relearning. I don't want to see any nagasu yet. No, nothing else apart from understanding your centre line. when you no, just carry on with that. We'll come back and I'll talk some more. This is fine when you're working on the outside. When you're working on the inside, you have to move your head. We're saying just lifting your hand up. You need to move your body. Yeah? Just the top half. You don't have to move the bottom half. By turning the bottom half, you've got the spring then to impact with. Okay? So just a couple more. Just lift. Only a few more, then I'll be bringing you back. Yeah? Down in. Can you come round, please? So, you've got to keep reminding yourself we're doing a very, very bare to the bone technique. You have to go right the way back. So now we want to understand Noru, to right. So it's basically we're going to use Tudor, and we're going to use part of a technique that we use. He's basically dropping, and we're doing this right. And the only reason why it's going forward is because my body's going forward. I'm not going. I'm literally dropping and going forward. Noru to right. We'll be doing some other types of Noru a little bit later on, but first of all, get back to your basics. Yeah? You would be doing this with nagasu as well. But for now, just drop and get this rubbing, this riding. Don't hit them, because we hit them, it's usually the biggest one wins. Yeah? So, try and understand your technique by dropping and riding the arm and into the body. Can you discover that? Don't do any extras. We'll do those after. We've got to go back to the beginning. Just as a visual, Sensei. If you were pilots of an aeroplane, I would not want to be in your. I would not be in your plane, especially on landing. Yeah. You need to land smoothly. You need to engage with them early. Yeah, that's when your realisation of distances and reaction time. Go on, Sen, keep on. But you need to watch. You need to engage them early. So you need to focus on your timing. It's not just about the arm dropping and the Noru. You need to get your timing right. Can you see how you're looking at the basic and you're trying to put a little bit more? Not extra parts, but you need these other little bits and pieces to actually make the technique work. the basic fundamentals. And by doing it in the basic fundamentals, it makes you search for those other little bits and pieces. Not dramatic ones, but timing, distance. Okay, just think about that when you do. We'll do a few more. Thank you, Ryan. Seeing quite a few of you that are not using your wrist. You see, I'm using my arm. That's why it's difficult. Use your wrist. Engage this. Because that's it. No, that's fine. Can you see it's almost like a hook. I've hooked his arm. If it's up, hooked. And I'm taking the punch directly into him. Yeah? Thank you. If you take your fighting stance, yeah, you don't have to have your hands like so. Your wrists can be bent. You need to be pointing. Because your katana, your sword, so bend your wrists as well. You're all high enough grades now not to have to keep your wrists straight. You want to use your wrists. So if I'm holding a katana, if I open, this should be in the center. This is your fighting stance. Not here. Tatai Seishan. Use your wrists, especially on this. Can you try that? Try and use your wrists. Carry on. Yeah. So, we've got one more to do. No, we've gone all the way through the basics now. With that, we'll start trying to put them together or break things down. Can you understand how you've took your uki, you're not getting hit, you've broke it into different stages, you've tried to keep to the very basic minimum amount, and if you understand that, then you can start mixing and matching and realising what you're doing. Not just trying to mimic somebody doing a gumi tagata or a kion.